Hi everybody, I'm Rachel and welcome back to Homemaking with Joy. Today I'm going to share one of my favorite fast food dinners. I think every mom should have a couple of these in her arsenal. It comes together quickly, toddlers like it, it's a one-pot meal, it's pretty much a winner all around. I always have the ingredients on hand so I can whip it up whenever I need to. So I will show you how to make it. Let's get started. I'm pretty sure I forgot to tell you that we're making Instant Pot Hamburger Helper. Let's get started. This is what you will need, an Instant Pot. It is one of my favorite kitchen appliances. I use it for so many things, and I'm sure you'll see it again in the future. Ingredients: elbow macaronis and beef broth. They store very well on the pantry shelf. Some oil for the bottom of the pan. However you say this stuff. Some of that. Salt and pepper. Onion, garlic, they make everything taste better. Some cheese that I forgot to get out of the freezer, so it's currently thawing. I prefer to buy my cheese in blocks and shred it myself because then it doesn't have that non-stick coating stuff on it. This melts so much better. And it has fewer ingredients, which is always my preference. And a pound of ground beef. That's it. All easily storable and come together quickly. First thing, I plugged in my Instant Pot and I need it on the saute setting so we can brown the ground beef. So I'm going to find the saute button and it's on normal. That's fine. It'll beep when it accepts it. That means it is now heating. I'm going to grab my onion and garlic and cut them up quickly. My Instant Pot is now hot. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the bottom to brown the beef. I'm going to add my chopped onion. I opened my ground beef and I'm ready to add that too. And now you cook it just like you would on the stove. For those of you unfamiliar with the Instant Pot, the saute setting works just like a frying pan or a skillet on the stove. Just the bottom part of the pot gets hot, and so you can cook things just like this ground beef right on the bottom instead of using a skillet. This is one way that the Instant Pot makes one-pot meals. Instead of browning the beef on the stove and then transferring it to the pressure cooker Instant Pot, you can just do the whole thing in one, which creates fewer dishes and just combines everything in the same pot, which is a thumbs up from me. The beef is just about cooked through, so I have a couple more ingredients to add. A little bit of this. You can measure. I don't. Some pepper. Some salt. My chopped garlic, and give it a stir. The recipe also calls for tomato paste here, but I don't often keep tomato paste on hand, and if I did have it on hand, it would only use a little bit, and to me that's not worth opening a can of tomato paste. My meat is cooked through, all the ingredients have been incorporated, it smells really good. I turn my Instant Pot off by hitting the cancel button. I have a couple more ingredients to add before I set it to pressure cook, and then I let it go. The next step is to add the cooking liquid. So we have beef broth here. The instructions say to add about 1/4 cup of beef broth first and scrape the bottom of the pan. You want to scrape off any browned bits that are possibly stuck to the bottom. If you don't scrape those off, your Instant Pot could give you a burn notice, which means it detects that there's something burnt and stuck on the bottom, and it will stop cooking because it doesn't want it to continue burning, which is a great feature if there's actually something there. So add a little bit of beef broth in the bottom, scrape the bottom with whatever tool that you're using to make sure there aren't any browned bits, and then you can continue adding the rest of the beef broth. So I'm using this tool to scrape the bottom of the pan. If there's any burnt stuff stuck to the bottom. I will find it and scrape it off. We don't want it on there. We want the flavor and goodness in our food. All right, we are all clear. Let's add the rest of the broth. From here, I like to make sure all of the onions are pushed into the beef broth so they will cook appropriately. I'll give it a stir. And then I will get ready to add the macaroni noodles on top. When I add the macaroni noodles, I'm not going to stir it. I'm just going to lay them on top, make sure they're all touching some broth, and then let it go. That way they don't burn on the bottom. Okay, so not stirring, but spreading these out. If the noodles are not touching the beef broth, they will cook without absorbing that liquid and just be rock hard when you open your lid. So not stirring, I don't want them touching the bottom. That beef is protecting them from burning on the bottom of the pot, but they're on a nice layer there. From here, I will grab my lid. My airlock is stuck. There we go. Set the valve to sealing if you have an Instant Pot like mine. Some of them seal by themselves. And then I will come down here to pressure cook. Some people have manual, some people have pressure cook, and set it to 5 minutes. And that is it. While I'm here, I thought I would mention I grabbed a bag out of my freezer for my scraps. I often put them in the compost, but I know that I have a quarter of a cow coming here soon, and I want to save all of my scraps to make beef broth from the bones that I will be getting with my quarter of a cow. So all of these scraps can go in a freezer bag, and when it's time to make the broth, I can dump all of these into my broth and make it really flavorful, delicious, and nutritious with just the extra scraps. So here I have a bunch of carrot peels from when I harvested carrots a couple of weeks ago. I will add my garlic and onion peels from this meal and everyone moving forward so I can make some delicious broth. I like to use my food processor to shred my cheese because it's fast, easy, and the whole thing goes in the dishwasher. My Instant Pot has just finished cooking, and this recipe calls for a quick release of pressure. So on mine, I have a knob here that I will turn and the steam will come out the top. Some people have a button, but either way, there's hot steam that's going to come out of that valve once I turn it. You can see it's under my cabinets, and I just don't want the steam going everywhere. Something I like to do is grab a kitchen towel, toss it over, toss it over the top, and then I will move the valve and all the steam will come up into the towel. Be careful, it will come out the sides because the steam has to escape somewhere, but this doesn't get steam everywhere in my kitchen. Some people also like to use your spoon or something to turn the knob because they don't like their hand near the steam. I'm okay with it. As you can see, it took a whole minute to depressurize. Now, I heard the airlock fall, I know all the pressure's out, and I know it is safe to open the top. Your first inclination will be to grab this, pull it off, and grab the handle. Do not do that. If you use the towel trick, this handle is very hot. So either grab a hot pad, or I will just fold this differently and open it that way. Also, please remember, open this away from your face so you don't get hit with steam. There you have the noodles. They cooked up beautifully in the broth. I'm going to stir it so you can see the beef in the bottom. It's down there. The last ingredient we have is the cheese. Let's break this up a little bit more. And this part, super easy. Grab the cheese. I think the recipe calls for 2 cups. I just do the whole block because we like cheese. Throw it in there. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to reserve a little bit because my kids like when I sprinkle this on the top so that they know that there's cheese in it, because this will melt and that can bother them sometimes. Anybody else relate with toddlers? So this is still on the keep warm function, and that's good for me because I just want it a little bit warm to melt this cheese. And once it is melted, it is ready to serve. And there you have it. Dinner is served. Grab a vegetable if you want, grab a fruit if you want, but you have the main dish conquered. So there you have it, my favorite fast food dinner, all in one pot, toddler approved, parent approved, and time to eat. One more thing. I forgot to mention that this meal freezes beautifully. So whether you have leftovers, just want to make some ahead, want to deliver some to a new mom, this recipe works great once you put it in the freezer. Cook it the whole way, let it cool the whole way, store it in the freezer, pull it out, thaw it, and it is ready to go and delicious.